Great. So, well, welcome all of you. Thank you for joining. I'm here with Robert, and we are going to talk a little bit about copywriting. I will start, of course, first a little bit of our Maildoso recommendations. Just some heads up, we had a recent meeting with Robert. We checked his copy and it was great. So we want to share it with all of our community.
It was a very high score.
Very high score.
That's what Franco said. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to talk about that score if you want to participate. Okay, so first, basically, it will be recorded so everyone can see it, even if you are not joining from the start. No worries, it should last about an hour. And we will have some questions and answer at the end, so we can just move forward and then go into questions so we can have more time for that. Okay. So first, we are going to talk a little bit of our deliverability tips, then the copywriting guide or ideas from Robert, and then we can do a copy roast. If you want to send your copy in the chat, Robert can check it out. Also, Vlad is going to be here. He's from our marketing team, so we can check that out and any questions that you have at the end, of course. So first, 5 tips for deliverability from yours truly, Maildoso. First, don't send links. We are usually always recommended not to send links, just plain text emails, because those are triggers for spam. Of course, in Maildoso, we have a way to walk around that. We can talk more about it, but the idea is that a link normally will trigger an alert on any spam filters, especially if it's on the first email. When you have a positive reply, of course, you can send a link. That's the usual. Number 2, track your deliverability rates. Of course, you need to check it regularly to see if your mailboxes are active, if your emails are landing in spam. You can do tests. Most of the sequencers will show you a score. And also, if you're using our infrastructure, we will tell you if you have a good reputation for Google and for Microsoft. Like each one is different. So you can check that out and check it as soon as you can or as often as you can, so you can see if something is happening. Maybe you changed the copy, you included or excluded something. It's really good to check it always. Number 3, turn off the mailboxes every now and then. I know not always is possible, but the idea is that if you have some extra mailboxes, you could just keep some of them on warm up without actually sending cold emails. And that actually would help the mailboxes recover. So even if you have a burnout mailbox, it will recover if you stop sending cold emails and just do warm up for a while. If not, they are going to just improve reputation and maintain a high deliverability forever. That's the idea. Okay. Number 2, of course, test different types of mailboxes. We are actually offering SMTP mailboxes and Google mailboxes. Of course, we are selling business accounts, not any cheap edu panel. We have a great price, but it's not because they are educational panels. It's just we are selling them cheap. So if you're running a big scale campaign and want to send a high volume, it's always recommended to have 2 types of mailboxes because you're going to go after a specific ICP, a specific market, specific country, and you can test which one works best, right? Each one has its own advantages. We can talk more about it. If you want, we can book a meeting also for that. But the idea is to diversify what you're doing so you can have more options during your campaign. Then limit the number of mailboxes per domain. That's really important. We recommend to use a maximum of 5 mailboxes per one domain. You can do less if you want, but the idea is not to have too many mailboxes and not to send too many emails, because each cold email may become a spam complaint. I don't know if someone is having a bad day, right? that might happen. So the idea is that that bad reputation will go into that domain. So if you have more mailboxes, there is more chance for you to do that. And also, if you send too many emails from one domain, that's also a trigger for the spam filters. So those are the ideas. And basically, those are our general recommendations. Here we have a promo code that you can use. Sorry about that. That you can use in any purchase with us, the webinar for 3. So that's a 10% discount promo that's valid until the end of the month. And you can use it in any link that we send you. So please check that one out. Of course, it's going to be in the recording. Just remember it. And well, this is my profile. So if you want to look for me, you can reach out to me at my email, franco@realmaildoso.com. You can also look for me on LinkedIn and you can chat with me whenever you want, or if you have any questions or want to do something like create a new infrastructure, get more mailboxes, improve your outreach. And also here, I'm going to leave it a couple of seconds so you can check if you want to book a demo, you can use this QR, also go into the web and book a demo or reach out to me directly. Not a problem. So, well, that was all from us on Maildoso. And now let's talk with Robert.
Hey guys, how you all doing? I hope you guys are doing okay. As Franco was speaking, I put together a quick copy guide for everybody. Just a forewarning, this is the same guide I give to my clients with the people I work through when I go through their problems, how they're attempting to reach out to specific people, what they need to be aware of when they reach out to those specific people, and ultimately what that flow should be like to best position you for a sales call so that you can close. Now, ultimately, I help people get jobs, but the idea is the same, right? The general points, we're going to go high level here. The biggest thing that I want everybody to know who does cold email on this call is really know your niche. That's rule number one, right? We only got 3 rules here. Rule number 1 is know your niche, right? I am assuming for the duration of this webinar and through the call that you really understand the nuts and bolts of not just the product you're serving, but who you're serving and what's going through their heads. And if you're kind of on light footing about, well, who am I talking to? How do they react to their circumstances in life and and how does my product actually satisfy and help them with that? Then, I've never actually, I want to segue, I've never seen a community as tight as Maildoso on this stuff. So use their utilities, use their roast copy, and really get involved with them to start living and breathing that world, because that's ultimately what we're doing here, right? So really know your niche, right? 2, when you understand that, I want you to put yourself in the decision maker's shoes and understand, well, what is their nightmare problem? And how are you solving that nightmare problem? And if that's not if we start coming up with copy and the copy starts coming across like, oh, I have this stuff and I do this stuff, instead of, hey man, you got this crazy thing going on and this is what it takes to solve it, that's immediately a divergence between a successful cold email, I find anyway, to something that more resonates with someone who's actually who needs help, right? The caveat to that is, don't position this about what it is that you can do. Always find the position of what is it this is going to solve, right? And rule number 3, how do we do that, is we don't really state things, right? And we're going to get to the copy in a minute and all this is going to be very clear. I don't want you to state that you're the number one and that you're the best and you do this and that. I want you to infer that, and I want you to infer that you are the specialist in the copy. And I think, Franco, the last time we spoke, I think the language that Maildoso uses, don't quote me on this, is that we look for language with more weight in the words, right? How can you tell me that you're a cowboy without, telling me that you're a cowboy, right? You're going to tell me you ride a horse and that there's like the mountains and the desert or something like that. So this is all this clever language that we can use and illustrate your speciality and how that your solution helps solve a problem, right? Another way to look at it, look up a thing called DHV, demonstration of higher value. And this is where also stuff like social proof, social norms, social proof really comes in handy with demonstration of higher value. In case of cold email, you can drop a line saying, these are the people I work with. And they're, I wouldn't even say that. I would say, here are the people that have been really successful who use a similar thing. See, there's already a slight difference there. And as we go through some of the copy, I'm going to just kind of lightly go through some rules of
Mhm.
thumb that why we do and why we don't do things, right? Is that good enough? Was it good?
I understood it. I don't know, but yeah, we're going to have questions at the and answers. Of course, I love people interrupting me in demos, but I think that we are a lot of people here. It will be best to maintain the order. But yeah.
Yeah. If you have any questions or any copy that may not be in the roast,
Mhm.
I think we're encouraging people to put that copy in the chat room because you're going to get like a more a one-on-one feel for your specific situation, and I'd love to talk to
Exactly.
you guys about it. So
Here. So here in the chat, feel free to fill it. Yeah. And if you have questions, you can also put them in the chat and we can move with Robert, like flowing through the meeting, but also answering questions.
okay.
And we have the first one.
So
Okay.
you want me to go with this or?
This is your time.
Okay, cool. So right out of the gates, high name, that's always, you can't really go around that, I find. But are you currently feeling this and that? I have a problem with that because what if they don't, right? Then you just lost the email. This is where knowing your niche really comes in specifically. So I would go in as long as you understand your niche, right? I would assume that they are feeling this pain, right? Go in and feel, go in. Are you feeling this? No, like I know you are. So if you are feeling this pain from a backlog of skill gaps in specific areas like cloud data, no, get clear on that. Is it cloud? Is it AI, right? Choose one of those things. Be specific about that. It could help that when you're analyzing your leads list, um, really look at the job titles. You can use like all sorts of AIs to help streamline this process. I know Franco and the Maildoso team are also
Yes.
building out some tools that are going to be really cool to make this really effective. But at the end of the day, if the person has a job title of like, let's say cloud security or something like that, then you might want to push into data. If they are an IT guy, you might want to push into cloud. If they straight up say they're an AI SaaS guy, then talk to AI SaaS, but don't talk to all three, right? Because you're just going to lose them. It's already kind of noisy. And
Yeah.
if you talk to all three that way, what psychologically what's happening, in my opinion, is that the person who reads this is like, well, they don't get me. Because if you knew me, you'd pick one of these things, right? So we
Okay.
want to feel like we know this person inside and out. Um, we work with companies who already have solid internal teams but need execution power. I call that the ship faster. I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to provide senior engineers who integrate directly into stack, modernize systems, accelerators without. Okay, this is pretty neat because you're showing like the upside of what you do here. But you could say like, we work with companies who already have solid interns, but just skip that. I work with people who need, right there, there's a few lines you can cut away. I work with people who need additional execution power to ship faster. What does ship faster mean for that particular person? Call that out. Know your niche, right? Um, I'm assuming that this company provides senior engineers who integrate. Okay, so like I'm this is kind of interesting. This copy is very similar to the copy I write. I would say like I'm already working with these engineers, right? And they do some really cool stuff if it's relevant. So what are we selling here though? This is where I'm curious on the CTA. Am I selling a person who provides senior engineering to integrate into my workforce, or am I selling a product? Because the CTA is not clear on that, right? If I am selling a person to work in your company, this is a little bit cloudy. It's not clear. If it's relevant, I'd be glad to see there's a practical way to could support your roadmap. Um, So I would just say to her like, hey man, do you want to talk to this engineer who can do this amazing thing for you? Just be direct, right? Because that's how you would talk to a human being about this. If it is a product or you want to know more about their roadmap or something like that, then you can be, if it is a product, I would talk to more like, hey, do you want a demo about how this product is going to integrate directly into your stack? But the CTA can be really clear. Up for a quick 15-minute conversation? Okay, but you can integrate that better into your CTA over here. And all that, if you nailed down, if you knew your niche, you knew who the leads were based on their job titles, and you spoke to those problems, or you're very clear about it, you don't have to say, hey, I'm the greatest and best at this kind of thing. People are just going to infer that from the language you're already using. So that's what I have about this one. Any questions on that so far? Because I kind of throw that pretty heavy.
Well, in the chat, I can only see we received one more copy. And yes, someone, I think two copies.
Yeah, I see people spilling in some, pouring in some of their things.
Yeah.
Again, the second point over, we work with companies. I want you to rephrase that language because you don't want to talk about how I do stuff. You want to use language that says this is the stuff that transforms your life, kind of stuff, right? Which is why that first we work with companies who already have solid that you can throw that out and skip right to like, you know, we do things that execution power to ship faster. If that's, I don't know what the product is here and how you jump, we provide senior engineers. You can go pretty quickly into that, right? Anyway,
Mhm. Perfect. We can move to number two, you
sure.
think? Perfect.
So this is interesting. So at my company, again, rule number two is this is not about you. This is about them. So I would never start off with my company. Let's you know who does this really good. I don't know if can we drop other company names in this webinar? Is that a no bueno?
Um, Vlad, I don't think we have a problem,
Okay,
but
so let's pretend I do work with a great company of fatherly sorts that is great for buying domains. And they have an amazing email system that when they send me an email, it's just like, last minute, this domain is about to expire. Like, and it's like, warning, your domains are about, it's like, it really gets me in the gut. I know I want those domains to expire because I don't want to pay for them again, right? They're done, they're
yeah,
burned. But the copy is written in such a way that it's not about, at no point do they ever say, we notice that. They're just like right in your face about warning, this thing is about to go down. And it's almost like, hey, warning, someone like hacked your bank account. Like you're going to want to do something about that, right? So I'm not suggesting that that's what you write here, but this at my company, we noticed that this and this is happening. Like that's nobody really cares what you do or what they care about themselves, right? What's in it for them. This like company, I would argue is because if that's like company, I'm assuming you're talking about your leads company. But if you said, hey, like, something like competitor one, competitor two, competitor three, or whatever, like that's some value because I haven't seen too many, depending on the niche, that might work out. Because there are some companies that like knowing, oh, who are my competitors in my space? I should probably do something about that. It also pumps up that kind of language would pump up your DHV that you're a specialist, right? Because now people don't have to, who else is going to know that those are competitors in the space other than somebody who knows what they're doing in the space, right?
mhm,
Um, these issues can drain valuable time that could be spent. Okay, when it comes to these descriptions about what this is happening, I want you to get deep into the pain, into the shoes of the person who's experiencing this problem. So if I'm a CEO or if I'm like your target lead and you're telling me these issues can drain valuable time that could be okay, how do I experience that pain? Put yourself in their shoes. If I experience that pain because if I don't integrate this technology, the auditor is going to come breathing down my neck and they're going to check my books and you're going to be in a lot of financial hot water, I would speak to that. If like I think some coaches use the language or like some people like the I guess the term like bleeding neck problem, right? So if it's like if I don't have this problem or if I don't have this solution, speak to like the things that they've already felt in the past. The last time they didn't do this, what happened to the company? Okay, they lost a few bucks, they lost a few money. That sucks. What did they feel? It's like they didn't go home for Christmas that year or something like you want to get personal with that pain, right? This issues can drain valuable time that could be better spent driving growth. That is your invitation when you see language that's kind of generic like that to go really specific into the pain of the niche and the lead that you're targeting, right? And that's why you really want to know your niche and you really want to know the leads you're going after because a CEO might experience this differently than a CTO. And you want to get clear on that, right? We specialize in integrating modern, okay, again, that you want to talk about the solution. It's like, instead of what I do, it's like, look, there's this ERP system that again, speaking to that pain, once we understand that, like, if this is a streamlined finance and operations problem, it's like, this is like, once you have this ERP system in, that auditor is not going to call again. And then you might want to like, a way to look at that is look at your case studies, right? Look at a case study you had and be like, how did that person respond to that case study, right? So if it was like a taxing issue, maybe it was like a bookkeeping issue. I don't know what this product is, but if it's in finance, it might be like a data analytical. If it is data analytics, then, we were able to punch out a pro forma analysis that like, got us months ahead. And, this is your invitation to like drop hints of a case study if you see language like that. I think that's the best way to kind of describe it.
Yeah.
Would you be open for a conversation about how we can help? Well, why else would you have a conversation? Would you be open for a conversation? Would 3 o'clock next week work for you? So you want to keep those truncate that so that the number of words is very low so that you get right to the point.
Yeah,
That
to keep
Franco
it
is that.
lower. I think, yeah, that was a good one. Okay. So we have a number 3 here.
Okay, this is interesting because I came across, hi first name, I came across your company on LinkedIn. If you're going the LinkedIn route, this line, also things like, I think the next slide might have a slide is like, I noticed how those are kind of overused, right? So I deal a lot on LinkedIn, and I can tell you if you say, I came across your company on LinkedIn, that's a kind of overused, and it's suggestion that there is a bot that's going to be sending it will feel, it might have worked 5 years ago, but it's not working now because the amount of people that are using this kind of language in their introduction is really high, right? So I noticed how, your company, or I came across your profile on LinkedIn. You think about LinkedIn for a second, right? When we have LinkedIn, there's a few ways you show up. Let's say if this was a connection request, which this is not, this looks like it's an in-mail because connection request, you can only put 300 characters. But even if it was, let's say it was connection request, you can only see, I don't know if you, I guess this is a little out of scope for the meeting, but you can only see like the first 60 characters in an invitation, right? And
Mhm.
if they see like how you did something on LinkedIn, they're like, well, there's no information for me. There's no value for me in that.
Okay.
I've seen guys peak real good. Like you can get cheeky. Unless you, for example, if you said, "Hey, Jeremy, you were referred to me by somebody," that's all of a sudden it sparks like some emotional interest. It's like, oh, well, who referred me? Why did they refer? And all these questions start flooding their mind, and the likelihood of them connecting is very high. With the first caveat, they're going to say, "Yeah, who was it?" Right? So I'm just using that for example to show the psychology of what you want to fire up when someone reads that. But you want to like really lock in those emotional language that's going to make them perk up about their world, right? So I'm a marketing consultant specialized in digital marketing leads acquisition. So, okay, so skip over here. So if this is a LinkedIn connection request, I would check that company, know your niche. And if they are doing something in lead acquisitions or marketing, you can speak to maybe a recent story or something that they did there where this is actually real life, right? Especially if they're doing marketing and lead acquisition. If they see this, they're going to know it's a bot because they're in your world. If you like to get more traffic, attract more qualified leads, and turn them into customers, I'd be happy to help. That's pretty good. I like that. Check out my web services and past work here. Okay, now you're hard selling too soon, right? But you could have suggestions. The likelihood, okay, so why that's a problem. I don't know if you, what's called click resistance and basically too many clicks, right? So they already, for them just to watch this on LinkedIn or in their InMail or whatever it is, it's like that's climbing one hurdle. Then asking them to click a new link that they've never seen before, that's going to be a hard one. So you'd be better off putting actually some names here, some like case studies and some names here, if that's what you want to do, because I don't think too many people are going to click that link. I invite you to get in touch so we can discuss, make this sound real. Instead of I invite you to get in touch, it's like, hey man, let's have a chat about where you are with your leads and how we can get that number up if that's a problem they have. You can reply by email or book a video call directly on the website. Again, that is assuming that they're going to click. They're probably not. And there's lots of technology you can use now with a Calendly link baked in, or I think even Google Workspace has their own calendar appointment setting now. I just saw a commercial for it. I haven't used it. I'm very interested in what that is. So
Mhm.
I would just say the language here, you can cut like half this out and be like, hey man, saw that you guys are doing this stuff. I happen to do that stuff. I got some, based on what I'm seeing, I see some opportunities or whatever. Actually, I teach a lot of people to do that when they go cold. Is like, here's some like stuff that I noticed that could be beneficial for you. Are you down to talk next week at 3 p.m.? That time doesn't have to be open because you're doing like one to many. If they reply in and say, yeah, next week at 3 works, you can always come back and say, okay, well, that got booked up. Can we move it to 4 or whatever? It sounds human. And then if they
Yes.
say, if that time doesn't work for you, then maybe there's something in my calendar that is a better for you. Again, what's it for you, for you, for you? In here, you can reply back to my email, book a video call on my website. Like it's very about me, about me, about me. Nobody cares, right? So
Yeah.
that's how I would treat. That's the positioning and the angle I would start using here on this one.
Perfect. Okay, let's do 4.
Okay, but this one skips. Okay. At company, again, we provide services like quantity takeoff, budget management. Franco, did you choose ones that are like in construction? Because like I'm in construction, or is this just by fluke?
No. That was Vlad, but yeah, probably.
Okay, right. Okay, so we provide services like quantity takeoff, budget management, and more. Okay, so this rings a bell because I work a lot in construction, and so you have like the right language here, quantity takeoffs. I wouldn't say budget management. You could talk about takeoffs and estimation. I don't know too many, again, knowing your niche, right? Not too many general contractors or subcontractors talk about budget management. They do talk about quantity takeoffs and estimation. They talk about scopes of work and contracts, and they talk about if you're a developer, they use languages surrounding like pro formas and bid variance analysis. They use that kind of language. Now, why do I say that? I saw one quantity takeoff, right? Takeoff. Again, if this is not about construction, look how that lit me up. I saw the word takeoff, and instantly I thought that this guy's in construction. That's extremely powerful to understand that for whatever niche you're serving, because this person, whether they intended to or not, just told me they're a cowboy without talking and saying they're a cowboy, right?
Yeah.
They just said cowboy hat. They just said rodeo. They just said, Savannah desert and, whatever. Savannah. So Sedona
Yeah.
is more like they mentioned Sedona, right? And instantly my brain concluded something. So this person already inferred something that made me think a certain way. And it was just one word. They don't have to state we are a general contractor's estimation. They don't have to say that because the language they use already infers that, right? Now, whether or not the rest is true. So budget management starts taking me away from that because now I was like I was in the zone. I'm like, oh, this construction budget management. No, I'm back out again, and that's why your choice of words is so important. Not just because that this grammatically looks correct, but think of yourself like a painter painting. And if you use the wrong colors, it's going to look like it's going to look kind of out there. So again, there's a lot of opportunities in this one. Like, hey, like, noticed the buildings, if this is construction, I noticed the buildings that you do. And I would love to help you guys out with some takeoffs because if you're interested to chat about how I can support you, and then we're offering 40% off discount our services this month, that's not a bleeding neck problem necessarily. Could be, but is that a bleeding neck problem of the general contractor? Probably not. You're forced selling 40% discount. The guy isn't even he or she hasn't even concluded that they're going to use your services or whether or not your services are necessary. So if you use this opportunity here or somewhere to talk about, man, like without our services, you're looking at, well, I don't know, I'm making stuff up right now. Like if you whoever wrote this, I don't want you to copy thing, but like let's say it was construction, like man, like if you did our services, if you and you wouldn't be dealing with like $1 million change orders or change requests. Like that's a pain in
Okay.
the butt to describe that to a client that all of a sudden hey man, here's my RFI for a change order, it's $2 million because I didn't get the estimate right? So you
Exactly.
can pepper that language in here, and then on the sales call to help block that in, because now the value is clear. Then on the sales call, be like, oh, by the way, this week you're doing 40% off. So do you want me, if you think it's appropriate with that cash or credit? And like that's how you would go at a sales call, but you wouldn't bring that into a cold email. I haven't even decided if I'm going to use you, right?
Yeah, that's usually not recommended to say like we have a
Yeah.
sale with discount. Okay. We have three more, I think.
Okay. Came across and thought your team could benefit from a short video that makes your message easier to understand. When the story is clear, people connect. Okay. So let's skip to the second one because when the story is clear, this is your opportunity to infer using case study and language that
Yeah.
shows because the story was clearer, the connections were faster, higher engagement, and higher conversions, right? You
And you
don't
can
want to
do,
say, pardon?
sorry, I was going to say maybe you can throw some numbers in there, right?
Throw some numbers in there. Stats are really good,
Yeah.
right? But here's a statement.
Mhm.
I want you to stop stating things. When the story is like, no, 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 just give me a guy taught me this the other day. It was really interesting. I never saw it from that perspective, but let's say, I think Franco, I had this conversation with you, right? So if you're working with someone and you tell them like this and this happened, or this is like this 5-step process as to why the certain results happen. If you're talking to somebody, they'll be like, they'll call you out if they think it's not valuable or not. They'll be like, no, you're full of nonsense, right?
Mhm.
If you said, oh, I heard from a friend of a friend, or I saw that this was happening to this other person, and you use it more like a story, then all of a sudden it becomes undebatable because it already happened, it's happening, and the logical access for you to pick apart whether it's true or not doesn't, those social norms don't exist. So your brain defaults to, oh, okay, more of a social proof channel. It's like, oh, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And so that's where you can use that kind of language, remove the statement, think about, start implementing. Again, it's an art. DHV, demonstration of higher value, is an art. Packing in your language so that you're inferring more than stating is an art. In the previous slide, one word was all it took to put me in this world.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who I'm talking to here. I don't know who. So back to the first sentence, right? I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what niche this is about. I don't see the pain here. So
Yeah.
if you have like your leads list is like 2 million long, that's fine. That's okay for anybody in here who does have like massive leads lists. But what's more important in your leads list is to start segmenting. I like you to segment by industry. Again, there's Franco and Vlad can talk about different tools out there. I have a homebrew tools, and there's I know they're working on cooking up something up at Maildoso right now. But look at your segments, what industries are they in, and then look at job descriptions. And if you can boil it down even further, like construction, right? So in construction, you guys got build houses, guys got build skyscrapers. What pains they have is very different, but the product is still the same, right? So, and would you like me to share a few quick examples of what that looks like? Okay, you're on the right track there. Right, that sounds human. We can probably boil that down to like, hey man, like here's a few case studies that drove like the stats, those stats, how this guy used this, and all of a sudden he went from 1 million likes to like 1 billion likes, and you can put you, and we could do the same for you, like would that be, and that's where I'm just throwing things at the dartboard over here, but that's how I
Of
would start
course.
language with this.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Let's move forward. We have some on the chat. Some people send their copy right now. So let's try
Okay.
to get to them, right?
Okay. So, hello. In a tough market, again, well, who's the tough market, right?
Yeah.
So take back
Take back
programs.
programs.
I don't know who that's for. So this, if you have that, like again, that might be a trigger word for
Yeah.
the appropriate lead. It's not for me, but I'm saying there might be someone out there where that triggers, so that could be good. But really, like, what is tough market? Don't tell me what a tough market is. Use DHVs and paint that picture of what tough market is for that lead. Okay, and next one. If we're in lieu of time, we can.
Oh no, I think we are good on time. Just
Oh,
tell me.
okay.
Okay. But yeah.
Okay, so in a tough market, right? So, okay, if this is like a lend, I don't know what a take back program is, or what we're
Yeah.
selling here, and reduces the carbon
So
footprint.
enough lives
So
on that
like
for
it's kind of all
Oh
over
yeah.
the place, like
Oh
increases
yeah.
sales and customer, and
I,
then reduces carbon
I think
footprint.
I know what we're talking about. There
Okay,
are companies that when, for example, work with Lego, for example, and once the toys become well, discarded, they have a program that they take back, so they reduce carbon footprint, they save on taxes, and it's a big problem. Mostly on Europe, I've seen that.
okay,
So there are companies that do this service for them, right?
okay. So if this is about toys in
Or
like
any plastic, probably, right?
or any plastic product,
Mhm.
if I'm a manufacturer of toys and Franco is a manufacturer of cars, right? You want to separate that right there and then. If Rob Chablowski is the CEO of Toy Tech and Franco is the CEO of Car Tech, right? This email's got to look, at least this first section's got to be segmented for Toy Tech and Car Tech so that you can really nail down that pain. And
Yeah.
then if you know that Toy Tech's pain looks a little quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, and Franco's looks like a I don't know, robin and squawks like a robin, then you want it like pushed that way. Right now, it's this dart was thrown at the board, but I don't see the pain,
Yeah.
right? Becoming a competitive advantage. Well, tell me in my niche about selling toys or whatever, why is that a competitive advantage? And that gives you the segue to explain, offer their customers an end of life solution for products. You have an opportunity here to really pepper in case studies, not just end of life solutions, because realistically in Americas and Canada, we don't really care, right? If this is like Vienna or Europe, this might be like, a little more pragmatic. But if he's like, yeah, we not only can we take back program, get rid of the garbage, but we're going to help you save money and you're going to be better for it. Oh, okay, money, you got my attention, right? So watch out because if I'm in America and I'm in toy tech, I probably don't care about, that end of life solutions for products. I just care about my money. So
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Next one here.
right out of the gates, I'm the co-founder. Nobody cares. We're building a new AI tool for nobody cares. Tell me, hey, hey, Franco, saw that, company name doing and noticed how hard to implement. I'm just giving you a flow here. They don't quote me on this, right? Noticed how hard to implement. And, some of the guys I work with mentioned that it's crazy expensive. And and again, we're doing a handful of product feedback, so you just nailed that right there. And you suggested that in that language. And then when they switched over to this new product, their numbers went up. And I'd love a 30-minute call to show you how we can maybe do the same for you. Like, that's it in a nutshell.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, an 8.
Okay. This is a hard technical. This could work. Mind if I ask you how much you're paying for mailboxes right now? If you were targeting someone who definitely is using cold email, um, if you, this is curious, I've never seen it done this way, but you got to watch out because when you open up your Google or Gmail or Outlook or whatever, you only have what, 40 to 65 characters, right? Is not there's like in your cell phone. If you pull out your cell phone and you go to Google, right? I'm going to show you right now what mine looks like. Not really, right? Here's my inbox. And, Instagram, view their latest stories while they're dot, dot, dot. Instagram and seven others recently, dot, dot, dot. That's all the characters you have to make an impression. And if I don't know what this is about in those 70 characters, I'm going to block you or delete you. So mind if I ask you how much you're paying? It's probably going to end right there. I'm curious how many people would be like, if someone asked me out of the blue, how much am I paying for what? Is
Or
that going
what?
to feel kind of whatever, right? But we could set you up. But this is a hard sell right out of the gates.
Mhm.
Um, Once the trial ends, this is a hard sell. I typically wouldn't try to hard sell someone on a cold email, and it's a surefire way to go in the spam box. Like the AI bots will be all over this real quick. um, the AI spam filters and they would be I think they'd be all around this way fast. But you could still sell this product. I would just talk to the pains and be very specific. I wouldn't. This email feels like you're just emailing 2 billion people on the planet and hoping the one
E-
person that, yeah. So
Yeah, I think we were doing that. That's from us. Vlad just confirmed on the chat.
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. I didn't know
No,
that.
that's fine. That's
I'm being
what we're
honest.
here
Yeah.
for. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think those are all the copies, but we do have a lot of copies here on the chat. I don't know if you're able to see them or you want me to like create more slides or something like that.
I'm in the Slack. The first one I see is Diana added re.ai. I'm recording this meeting, this meeting. Okay, hi. From Bilal. Is that the first one, Franco?
Yeah, the first one I saw a while ago.
So what I sometimes like to do, guys, is I like to put it in I'm actually going to open up
Yeah,
I won't do it on live copy because I don't want you to see my inbox, but I'm going to open up a browser of Chrome. Everybody who's on the chat right now, if you have access to the Q&A chat room, what I want you to do is literally open up
yeah,
an instance of Outlook or Google Workspace and just copy this and paste it into the don't you don't need to send it. It's just like where you write it so that we can get you get an idea for how much language, how many words, the weight of words. So reading it in the chat box is a little tricky. Reading it actually in the composing section of I don't know if you actually want to do that, Franco, if you just want to, and I'll read it off yours, but
Uh,
or just a
yeah,
chat or just a text box that's like a little bigger so
yeah,
that it looks like feels like reading it from your
yeah,
browser,
exactly.
right?
That's what I was thinking. Let me see if I can. Maybe I can like
Yeah, just override one of these. I think that's
yeah.
already the flow. So guys, why that's really important is because from a aesthetic and design perspective, there's the reason why when I open up that last email that the estimation thing popped out and where
I cannot fix it, I think.
oh, because it's in you can't edit this.
I don't think I can edit it, this one.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
No,
let
my
me
no,
point
just
is
proceed with
that
let me do that for you. Frank,
yeah.
if you, I'll just edit one slide and then
yeah,
add some more.
that's cool.
At
Yeah,
the
if
end.
we drop in the slides, I'll read it. The point
Yeah.
that I'm getting at here is that mind if I ask how much you're paying for mailboxes right now? Why I was being so hell-bent on this is because not only when we pick up our phones
Oh
and
yeah.
we, oh, that's my daughter, but we know, if I look on my cell phone, that's like where I'm limited on my text count and all that. But also, there we go. When we
Okay, so
open up
yeah,
the
Vlad, that's great. Thank you, Vlad. If you can keep doing that, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yep, we can.
when we keep reading the emails, I'm not necessarily reading the first few words because I kind of already saw that in the check.
Yeah, of course.
Me, and I see a lot of people doing this, is like the words that kind of popped out was London centric and national foot, just because that's from a design and aesthetic perspective where I find when we read emails, I literally just glanced at my Gmail where I popped, and the first thing I didn't go to transitioning, my eyes went to London centric. So if we're what go on a heat map, they call it, right? Your heat map is right is not the first few words. Hi, my we do. It's like we're expecting weighted language on like the fourth or fifth word. We're expecting something heavy there. London centric is heavy. I don't know what that means. That was an opportunity to start somewhere in that row. That was an opportunity to start using the language. Now, using the language that your niche and your target uses, right? Everything in your first sentence has to be hardcore language that your niche and your target uses. So coordinating applications and training across retail fleet and regional events through spreadsheets creates a significant operational block. That you can say all that in 2 words. Roster automates the recruitment to a reward journey, letting you prioritize volunteer. Okay, what are we selling here? Automates recruitment to reward. As a guy who runs a recruitment business, are we selling recruiting people? Volunteer relationships over chasing paperwork. The team looking at ways to automate the onboarding process. Okay, this sounds like this is a recruitment email. If this is what I think it is a recruitment email, if it is, I think it is because you have onboarding process. Who am I onboarding? It looks like recruitment to a reward journey. So we got to get clear about what it is that the product is. I don't know. I don't think we're going to have time to talk to you, Bilal, directly here, but let's assume it is recruitment. I don't know what London-centric model means for the niche or things. So I would use that first sentence to really dive deep into like the language that your target is thinking. So if you're talking about recruiting people for retail shops like store owners or managers, or maybe they're in-house
Sorry.
corporate retail people, right? Then you would need to use language way up here that's like heavily based in that. So if, let's say, for example, you specialize in corporate retail people, I would talk to here about, the somewhere in your first sentence should speak to language surrounding what a corporate retail manager even does. Are they analyzing where to set up the next like fast food restaurant? And like, is that what they do? So the reason why that's important is because if you can nail down that kind of language, then what I talked about earlier, you're going to infer that you're a specialist in the world without having to state that I am a specialist in this world, right? And you want to do that because it also does it in way fewer words, right? Coordinating applications and training across a retail fleet. Okay, so I guess you're talking about looking at applications from online and training significant bottleneck. So that's your opportunity. Instead of stating that it's a significant bottleneck, give me, oh, you have British Heart Foundation, have their onboarding time in Streamline National Shop Recruitment using this workflow. Okay, so something there. You can actually chop out coordinating applications and speak more to what the British Heart Foundation did to make this bleeding neck problem a bit more there. So I would use language that is highly centric around what your target audience uses. And then I would paint the bottleneck I would viscerally paint, like from a pain point, what that pain is. Coordinating applications and training across creates a significant operational bottleneck. You're on the right track, but like, what is the language if I'm the CEO or let's say the hiring manager at a retail shop, right? Do I use these words? Probably not. So have a few conversations with your niche and your target lead and start listening to the vocabulary they use and the emotional backing in that vocabulary, and that's what goes there. Is your team looking to ways to automate the onboarding process? There's a disconnect because is that the product, right? Is the product, do I, as a CEO, coming back to that pain, as a CEO of this retail thing, is my pain that I need automated processes or that I need people, right? So sell the person. I made this mistake once years ago. I was actually there 5 years ago in my recruitment firm when so at my recruitment practice, segue here, we do actually implement really cool and fun technologies that help us find and source people and do all that fun stuff better. When we pitched that, nobody gave a beep swear word because they're like, I don't know that. All I know is that I need people. I don't care how they come to me. I just know that I need them. And so you need to ask yourself, are you doing a technological sales pitch here or are you pitching people? And that's that. There you go. All right. Next.
I think I'm going to need to refresh it. So just a sec, but we have all here. Yep. Let me just get it into slides again. And here we go.
Okay. So I skipped because I'm looking for who are you talking to? That was not in the first sentence, Gary. By the way, this is a roast, so I am being blunt.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So the gloves are off. The gloves are a little off. I got like some latex thing over here, right?
Yeah, that's
All
fine.
But has a capability real-time volunteer hours and okay, you have something really specific here. I think you have a very particular product because volunteer hours and there's a location across Staffordshire. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're targeting a guy who happens to be. So it looks like Staffordshire looks like a place. It looks like it's a municipality that you're targeting,
Mhm.
and your cold email is probably like hi first name. Probably here's a squiggly bracket that import municipality that's being targeted. Okay, so the challenge of aggregating. Okay, what are you trying to sell here? Would you be open to the idea of reviewing how reporting helped some of our other customers? Help them with what? Please. So if I got the reporting capabilities, so another way to look at this. So once I have this reporting capabilities, how did that help the other customers? It helped them with what? Was that the help wasn't that you have dashboards and that you can capture real time. That's the sell, by the way, when you're on the sell call, because what you helped them with was that like you were able to maybe hire more volunteers or have a better budget for whatever it is. Like the sell isn't the dashboards and the real-time hours and economic value. The sell is what's the end result for the customer. That's the bleeding neck problem you're trying to solve. Once you're on the sales call, to be like, hey, I noticed, and that's a whole, you guys want to talk about sales? I happen to know a thing or two about that. But once you're actually on the sales call, then you want to start talking around the case studies around, okay, well, how we're going to bring you this, solve this problem is this little thing where called Rosterify, and it does this. The cold email is not really where Rosterify solves these problems. It's the hard sell, right? You also got to get really, again, that first paragraph's got to be language that these people use about without, and you don't need to use expensive language like narrative for statutory partners. That's not ChatGPT actually was pretty good at this once upon a time. I don't necessarily recommend using AI to write all your copy because sometimes it carries off with using like PhD level language. Narrative for statutory partners is not a grade 5 reading level, and that's hard for me to even digest, right? So I hope that helps.
Perfect. Oh, that's what. 11.
If you got any unconverted leads, we help re-engage your existing lead list to uncover new business. We're only paid, this is a hard sell email, eh? We're only paid when we deliver qualified booked appointments. Would you be open to running a quick test on a few of your old leads to see if you could help, if this could help at your company? PS, we're 100% results based. If that's a guarantee, then just call it out. We're like, hey, PS, if you don't make a sale, then you don't pay kind of thing. I
Mhm.
100% results based is kind of, well, what does that mean, right? It's kind of loose. All right. And the reason why I knew right away that this is like just a, and if it isn't, I apologize, but it's sounding like you're taking a shotgun to like to the internet and seeing who you got because everybody has unconverted leads and everybody wants to help re-engage those existing leads. But am I the CEO at like Toyco or the company, the guy who runs Carco, is
Mhm.
this the language we use, right? If this is a SaaS company, this
It-
might be a little bit closer,
yeah.
but like if you're a SaaS company that use or like a coaching company, like you might want to like unconverted leads who did what because they didn't engage the form, they didn't like put their information in, they watched your webinar but bailed out. So this is where, and again, that language only very specific to in my case, the people who are like, hosting webinars that are like evergreen coaching calls, and you're going to get bails on that, right? So that like that's a like an angle you could take for coaches, but that is not the language you're going to use for the guy who's selling cars or toys, right? So this sentence just sounds like you're going after everyone. If you're going after everyone, you're going after no one, right?
Pray and pray.
Yeah.
Okay, so 12.
Okay, so we're getting finance team. So we're on a path here. Collect. Okay, so you're targeting a bank or some sort of lender that, okay, this is like now we're getting somewhere, right? So a bank or a lender that's having a hard time with students for their debt. So this is like okay, this is I was just going to say, it sounds like you guys are a repo. So this is a repo depot targeting students that went after things. So financing those spend countless hours. Do they? Right? You're stating here
Mm.
that countless hours, but like, well, paint that picture for me. If I was at a bank, you know, what, why don't it's like nobody wants to call up a student. I get it, man. Like nobody wants to call up a broke student because it's like bleeding. What is the expression? It's like trying to squeeze a rock for blood out of a stone or something, right? So you can get pretty creative with the language there. Again, the language that the institutions use. We build an AI tuition, no one cares, right? It's like wouldn't it be cool if that's not the sell? The sell is an AI tuition collections agent. The sell is you're getting your money back. The sell is successful repo. The sell is, instead of for every 30 calls, I only get 5 collections. The sell is I got 30 collections on 30 calls. Not we built an AI tuition, not the tech sell. I know it's really difficult. Again, I was there because I was so proud of technology and the programming we built. And I wanted to tell the world that we did this thing and this thing is going to do this thing for you. And they only care what they understand, right? It's great that you have this technology that's going to do all these things. Is their brain in that world? A really good language that I use to teach people about this as well is like, are those the thoughts that are running through their head? If you talk to a bank teller, are they thinking about like AI tuition collections agents? Probably not, right? What is running through their head? And once you get that, that's what you write down here. I'm good with this one.
Perfect. Okay, so while Robert is reading, I was talking to Vlad on a chat, and we want to invite you all to the Slack community where you can continue to pick Robert's brain as long as he got time, of course. So yeah, so while he reads, I just wanted to tell you guys that, and probably going to send an invitation soon before we
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, just let me know when the hard time is because
Oh no, I just realized you are the hard time. That it's depending on your time.
okay. Well, I'm trying to be nice. Like I want to get through everything, but so just cut me off, Franco, when we're most appropriate, okay?
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, let me know. We have a external chat and I will do it.
Okay. Hi, Kevin. You probably heard what's wrong with that picture. I probably? I
You probably.
I
Yeah,
better. You know that
Yeah,
I have that problem,
I
okay?
don't want to read any emails if I don't have a real problem, right?
Right? And then you go from the I probably to that's precisely. So okay, you can infer that is precisely the thing to do by in your first section, talk to the bleeding neck problem using the vocabulary and the drama and the emotion that those people actually live and breathe and tell.
Mhm.
Our clients, that's an opportunity for if you're allowed to actually say who your clients are, as long as it's relative to who the person is. They booked over 1,000 sales meetings from these newsletters and not open clicks like these are okay. No, that's a throwaway, not opens or clicks. Just go straight to it. Like our clients booked thousands of sales meetings from these newsletters. Now, you've probably heard that since launching a newsletter can watch it part of it. Okay, so I haven't validated what I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell a product. I'm not even, what is it? Yeah, you're trying to sell a product that does some sort of newsletter thing here, right? I'm not even at the end of the email. I'm just like, I'm hung up on, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but 1,000 sales meetings from their newsletter. That's where I am, right in the middle of the page. And I know what you're trying to sell. I haven't validated that newsletters is the thing that I'm having problem with. I haven't, is newsletter the thing I'm having problem with? No. The thing I'm having a problem with is booking meetings, right? So talk to, again, the niche. So maybe if there was like the earlier thing, if it was about collecting tuitions, right? Talk to those booked meetings. You're like, oh man, it
Correct.
really sucks getting those booked meetings. I know I can they feel it, right? And then you're like, then you don't have to talk about the newsletter per se. You can pepper it in, right? Another thing, what's his name? My God, Brunson. He's really good at this. Everything that it is not. So engineers are particularly nasty with this in general. People who I believe are logical minded, maybe even the world in general is getting away from this thinking. But am I allowed to reference Brunson,
Mhm.
Russell Brunson? So cool guy, I think. Never met him, but cool. And he does really interesting webinars. Check him out on YouTube. This is all available on YouTube. And one of the things that he talks about for good headlines, which is kind of in here, is like talk about everything that it is not. Because the minute you start talking about what it is, then people are going like newsletters, I'm out, right? Even though newsletters can save their life, they're not there yet in their head. That's where you leave that for the sales call, more or less, right? But it's like, hey, I worked with these guys and we got 1,000 sales meetings without what else? Without AI chatbots, without not cold email because that's what it's about. But if they said you could say without the three things that everybody uses, and now I'm like, oh man, like I got to know what this is, right? And
Yeah.
and I specialize in B2B. Like let's hop on a call and maybe we can apply these things to you. And I'm like frothing at the mouth. I want to know what it is that this thing can help me with. And you get on the thing, and even on the sales call, you don't tell me right away. You go through the process. At the end, you say, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do some newsletters for you guys, and bang, 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 case study 1, 2, 3, right?
Okay.
That's how I
Yeah.
approach it. Don't
That,
quote me on this. Don't sue me.
that sounds cool. And also, this is very long.
Yeah, it's like bleeding off the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, roofing. I love roofing. Best Choice Roofing has built a strong reputation since 2009. This is, you can say that without stating that. And in roofing, I think that is important because, think about anybody who needs a roof. If you are a person who needed a roof,
Yeah.
right? You want to be a trustworthy, reputable, not a stand with a van, right? But after every most of that goodwill causes very good becomes a review. Okay, straight up, if I'm a roofer, right, do I know what NFC power tool that captures real feedback from happy customers is? Not a clue, man. I am a guy with a truck, with a production manager at the best or a general manager. I don't know what this means. You're selling technology, you're not selling the result or what that will do for me, right? And I think by reading this, I think if I put myself in your shoes, man, on number 14, it sounded like what you were trying to get the client to see was like, well, I'm trying to get the client to see that if they have good, strong reputations, I'm trying to get them down this path of like good, strong reputations. And then that was going to like warm up to the sales about how I'm going to integrate this, like, might be like a widget that they put on their page or something. I don't know, whatever it is. But I can tell you that I understand what you're doing, but a roofer does not, right? So turning visible work into visible proof that wins. So that's all stating. You can try going the other way from like, what is the roofer's bleeding neck problems with reviews? And how, like, like, Matt, okay, I'm a roofer. I did this job for this guy. And he's like, oh man, I'm going to give you guys the best review because I know that my business is like 90% dependent on word of mouth.
Yeah.
And that guy does not leave me a Google review. How pissed off do I feel?
Exactly.
That's what goes in the first set paragraph, right? That language. And then why? Because if that guy, does that was like this, I'm just thinking outside the box here because like I know your business is 90% depend on word of mouth. Every roofer is. Again, know your niche, know your lead, right? And the fact that that one guy, it's not just one guy that didn't give you a good review. That was 3 sales calls that you lost as a result because I know for every one successful Google review, you're going to get 3 sales calls, right? Off the back of that referral. And the fact that that guy didn't give you that one thing, you just lost 3 sales. So like really pump up the bleeding neck problem, right? And that's what I make sure that that doesn't happen, man. Let's get on a call so that doesn't happen to you. And it's really easy peasy. I see some things on your website we can. No, I wouldn't even do that because now they're like, oh, is this guy like a graphic designer? I'm out. Like, let's like, yeah, I'm already in your world. I see a few things in your company that we can fix, and this is like an overnight quick fix right now to stop these bleeding neck problem. That's how I would put that. You should actually talk to me about this because I love working with roofers.
Yeah, they
Message
got
me on
you.
LinkedIn, man. Message me on LinkedIn
So I think we
or in
there's
the Slack.
one more. Yeah, that's the last one if you're up for it.
Okay. In general, I like the tonality here because when I first read this, I believe your clinic could increase appointments by, just because I'm reading so many emails right now, it kind of started to feel like, oh, like, hey, hi, Dr. Franco. My name's Rob, and I think your clinic can do a lot better with increasing point. It kind of felt like someone was reaching out to me. So you might have an
Yep.
angle there, and I don't want you to mess with that because depending on who you're talking to, that could work, right? But I believe your clinic could. You're kind of in the right world because you just said clinic in the first few sentences. So immediately, and you said, hi, doctor. So that's pretty interesting. The doctor and the clinic are good. When I say in my practice is I call them
Mhm.
anchors. So you're already anchoring me, and I'm already prepared that this person is going to be talking to me like I am a professional doctor with a stronger visual approach. You don't, I don't know what that is because I don't know what you're selling me. My pain isn't stronger visual approach. My pain is I want to increase appointments, or is I want to increase appointments, or do I want to increase or decrease my no-shows, right? Whatever that is. I
Mhm.
recently saw a practice using disease posters at the entrance, but static visuals rarely drive action. Okay, this sounds like ChatGPT right there. Um, Here is your this is a new line break, by the way. So here you can talk to a case study where there was a visual, an easy to implement visual that patients did see, and when they saw it, the appointments shot up or by 30 to 40%. Our 3D, and I have some ideas, our 3D disease simulation application visually demonstrates the progression of conditions. I am always of the habit that your hard sell of what the thing is belongs in your sales call because I'm not there, right? All I know is that like, hey, this person's talking because they run a clinic. What would be cool? What kind of clinic? Is it like cancer? Is it pregnancy? Is it a dental clinic? Right? A dental clinic is an easy one. Like you just ask Franco's friends that give me leads or instantly or whatever, like just show me all the dental clinics and boom, now you have a
Yeah.
segment about dental clinics and you can make this entire thing about like your sales pitch would be like, yeah, show these people they're bleeding nasty gums because they don't show up for a floss or something, right? But and again, you have an opportunity here to be like really laser specific focused about what kind of clinic. And then if you said, hey, I believe you're like, your prenatal clinic could increase like appointments with young moms, like I'm already bang bang bang, I'm in your world. I'm like really hitting it hard. And if that's the case, what is the problem with young moms in this dental clinic? Is it that they just don't show up? Is it that they do show up but they don't follow up? Like what's that pain? I don't know what the pain is here outside of that. There's a lot of opportunity here just off the fact that you have the word doctor and clinic. We can go even deeper. And would you start pushing our hard 3D disease? It's like I would say like we got this really cool thing that helps bookings and is a really easy to implement. Everybody, like here's like a quick pepper in a case study about like these doctors. If you had a franchise, maybe like a bunch of dental clinics are like doing it, and like all of them are like saying this and this about this process. And I would love to like have a heart to heart with about you how we can do the same for your clinic, right? Just watch out. You got to be real careful when you actually start stating what it is. Remember,
Mhm.
Russell Brunson's everything it is not, right? So
Exactly.
our 3D decision, okay, well, what isn't it? It's not an automated follow-up machine. It's not a business card that they take care. It's not, the secretary running down the parking lot saying, wait, you forgot to book next meeting, right? It's not those things. What is it? Well, you'll find out when you get on the sales call with me. That's how I do it anyway. So
Amazing. Well, that was a little bit past what we expected in time, but I think this is a good place to stop. And of course, you all have the invitation to the Slack community in the chat. And I don't know, Robert, if you want to share anything,
no,
just.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm still my throat. I'm a little sorry to be honest,
Yeah,
Franco.
well, thank you so much. This has been amazing. At least for me, I've learned a lot. Yeah, and hope to see you all on the Slack community. And of course, in any demo you want to book with me. I actually have a demo that was just booked. I don't know if it's from this meeting, but I have one in 4 minutes. So cool.
Yeah, if you guys want to chat with me, just message me on Slack, message Franco, and then Franco message me on Slack as well. You got me on LinkedIn. You can message me there for any help. And Vlad, I will talk to you shortly